behind them in Beaver County. The Best of Beaver County is sponsored by and content is provided by St. Barnabas. The show airs every Thursday from 11 to 11:30 on WBVP, WMBA, 99.3 FM, and Facebook Live. Now, with no further ado, let's welcome host Mike Romigh to introduce today's program.
Well, this is what we do. We bring in people from Beaver County, people who have made a mark in Beaver County, who is making Beaver County a better place to live and to work. Quality of life issues is always important to us, and we'd like to present people and programs and the businesses in Beaver County that do just that. And this morning we're talking with Joann Clark. She is the owner of Clark Martial Arts on Darlington Road in Patterson, and Doug Stopp. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Romigh.
All right, thank you. Doug calls me Mr. Romigh because I was his basketball coach back in, what grades were you in?
Seventh, sixth, seventh, eighth.
Yeah, you can call me Mike. That's okay.
All right, Coach.
All right, thank you. All right, Joann, I understand. Tell us a little bit about Clark Martial Arts, because from my understanding, you were a student. You were there. Maybe you even were instructor, but now you've bought the business, and it's under Clark Martial Arts.
Actually, yes, my daughters were both students.
Okay.
So they're both second-degree black belts now. They went to the school for quite a few years. They still attend. A few years ago, the woman who used to own the gym wanted to retire. Mm-hmm. So we went ahead and invested in the gym with her. So we're actually just changing that over now. So it's actually for my daughters. Mm-hmm. They'll be taking over the gym here, and she has 24 years of experience doing Taekwondo, and we're bringing Doug in here to do more of a mixed martial arts gym with Kung Fu and such.
Oh, okay. Now, where is this located exactly on Darlington Road?
So it's 603 Darlington Road. We're right next to the Patterson Elementary School.
Okay.
It's kind of a longer building. I guess it was a restaurant at one time. We're right there next to the school.
Okay, I know where you're talking about, right before you go down the hill.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. And so your two daughters are both second-degree black belts.
Yes, correct.
What does that mean?
Well, they've gone through the color belt system, which I believe in Taekwondo is 9 belts.
Okay.
And then they did a first-degree black belt, second-degree black belt. You have to wait a certain amount of time between each belt before you can, be passed and tested on it. So, yeah, they've been committed for quite a few years.
So when this came available and the former owner was retiring,
yes,
did the kids come to you and say, Mom, we got to do this?
It was kind of a family thing, yeah. I just thought it was a good investment, something for the girls to have in the future, keeps them in the community. It's good for them physically. It would be a great investment. I just thought to keep the gym going.
Tiny Teak. That's the restaurant that used to be there. Well, I was just trying to think of where it was, and I think Tiny Teak was the restaurant there.
Yeah, that sounds right. So, yes, right there.
And were you also into Taekwondo?
No, I actually never did any martial arts growing up. I did traditional, basketball, volleyball, softball, all that type of stuff.
Where'd you go to school?
Hopewell.
Oh, okay. So you went from one end of the county to the other?
Yep, kind of, yeah.
Okay. And are there a lot of people who are interested in martial arts?
Well, I think so. I think we need to get the word out, and we need to spread the word that, we're a gym that's been there for many years. Lots of students have passed through. We're only getting better all the time, and people just need to not be afraid to come and do that kind of thing in the gym. I think maybe it's a little scary for people, but it actually becomes quite addictive and fun.
Yeah. And how old do you have to be?
So around 4 or 5 is probably the best time to start. Doug is an instructor for quite a few years, might be able to actually answer more questions like that.
All right, Doug, how old were you when you first started this stuff?
I started when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
And I have continued since then. I started teaching when I was in my 20s, and I've continued since then.
How did you get interested in it?
Well, actually, it was my dad. My dad wanted to do Tai Chi. As you know, Tai Chi is
yes. See, it's hard to talk about this stuff without going through the motions and all that.
Indeed, I agree. Yeah, so he wanted to do Tai Chi, and I went there to watch the Kung Fu class at this school. I did not want to join at first because it looked really difficult to do, but my dad convinced me, and I did, and the rest is history.
Yeah. So you and your dad just go through the motions together?
Oh yeah. We've trained together. He's been in several of my classes. It's a really good father-son bonding moment.
Right. That's excellent. And so what was it about doing the Taekwondo or Tai Chi that fascinated you most, that it made you want to continue on and even to be an instructor yourself?
The two main things, the hard work, the gym work. You know me, I liked being in the gym a lot, training. Yeah. The second and most important was the brotherhood and the sisterhood of martial art students. When I first started, I was having a little difficulty catching on to it. And I had the best martial art brothers, mentors to help me learn, like my brother John, my brother Zach, my best buddy Mike, and a few others. They really got me to really love martial arts and Kung Fu more and more, so I owe it to them.
Yeah, and as I remember, Doug, you were always interested in the religious aspects of things. You were very involved, deeply involved with the church and things like that. You may still be, as far as I know. St. Augustine, okay. And does the discipline needed for Taekwondo and that sort of thing, does it kind of meld into religious kind of disciplines?
In a way, I think spiritually and physically, but I think they blend together very well, actually. Both the disciplines of religion and martial arts, I think, blend together very well, though. And I have seen you at the YMCA in the pool, and you were teaching classes in the pool for the YMCA. Yes, Tai Chi Aqua. So a lot of people who have little disabilities with their knees or back or balance, it's a really good class to do. We're this month is actually, we're going to have National Tai Chi Day up at Clark Martial Arts. It's going to be Friday, April the 25th, where we're going to invite all Tai Chi students of mine and any who want to join to come to our class and see both the two sides of Tai Chi, how it's used in a martial art matter and also in a body and wellness matter and mind. Okay. And Joann, you said your daughters were involved. And when I saw Doug at the Y, there were women he was teaching. Is this something that more women get into nowadays than perhaps 20 years ago?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's definitely a lot more women interested. I mean, just the, the aspect to be able to defend yourself as a woman is, a huge part of it, obviously. But yeah, my girls found a lot of camaraderie there too in the gym, just making friends and, people who are good people there. That's part of it, like Doug was saying, with the mental health, the spiritual health and such like that. It's good for your kids to connect with people like that. There's a lot of good people that go to the martial arts gym. And I think that women will find that very comforting. And it's easy to go there and work on skills to defend yourself. Do you also work on confidence? Does it make you more confident when you do these things? Absolutely, 100%.
Definitely. And so if people wanted to see it, do they just do they have to call ahead? It's time, because you probably would be able to inspire more people if they come and take a look at what you're doing on a regular basis. Yeah, we're open every Monday through Friday, but it's Monday and Wednesdays are Taekwondo, and Tuesdays and Thursdays are Kung Fu. And you're welcome to walk in and ask questions, about pricing or scheduling or anything like that. Or you can reach us with our email address, cmachippewa@yahoo.gov, or I'm sorry, at yahoo.com. Oh, became a government entity. Yeah, how about that? That's all right. So I have a question. What is the difference between the different disciplines? Because you said Taekwondo and then you said Kung Fu. And I know David Carradine from being on TV in Kung Fu, but that's nothing that you guys are doing. Close, though. Okay. Taekwondo, their discipline is from Korea. And they, like Joann says, they have the belt system. They go through a belt system testing. My style, Kung Fu, Northern Kung Fu, is from China. Okay. And that's closest to what David Carradine and Grasshopper were doing on that show. Okay. And how are they different in the movements, in the discipline? One, like Taekwondo, they do a lot more kicking. They do a lot more leg work. Kung Fu, we do a lot more hand work, but with a mix of kicks and stances too. I feel like Dawn, who is the Taekwondo instructor, would say at Taekwondo you're further away, right? Right. Kung Fu you're a little closer. And then we also teach something called Krav, which is a self-defense, where you're like, it's more like like boxing. Yeah, right. You're up tight and close and fighting people. Then we do that, and we also do jiu-jitsu. We have a teacher for that. So we have like 5 different martial arts we offer. And what's different about jiu-jitsu? You're on the ground the whole time. Yeah,
right.
Okay. How's that working out? How's that work out when you're on the ground all the time? You're doing leg kicks or?
Yeah, wrapping yourself up.
around, tapping out, trying to loosen the grip on the person who's got a hold of you.
Now, when you get into this, how long have you been in it, Doug? Since you're 15.
Since 15, yes.
So you're in your mid-30s now.
Yeah.
Right. And so in all that time, do you ever have to use it in public? Do you ever encounter or somebody wants to take you on? Do you ever have to say, hey, wait a minute, these hands are legal weapons?
Well, no, I've never had to do that in a combative way, but martial arts also teaches you how to avoid that stuff too in a very good way. How to not have to use it. How to use your hands for talking, not fighting.
Okay.
Right. That should be the last thing that you try to do.
Yeah.
And but what we do is tournaments a lot. So there's a lot of sparring. There's a lot of, actual hand-to-hand combat in the tournament where you're kicking and punching and fighting each other depending on what, what aspect you're in, Taekwondo, Kung Fu, or whatnot.
Now, when you said that you could get started at 4 or 5 years of age, you can start to learn. Is there an age limit? Because if you're 60 or 65 or 70, for an example, is there a time when you have to say, it's hurting my body too much? Like you play football or basketball, sooner or later the ligaments, you're going to start to wear out a little bit. Does that happen with these martial arts?
Sometimes, like I said, I've been to a few tournaments where I've competed against people who are in their 70s and they've done pretty well. The good thing about Tai Chi, you can see it is for the older age, and we are going to, in the next month or two, we are going to start a Tuesday class for Tai Chi at our school at around 4:45, and that would be it's a good starter actually for anybody who thinks they have some kind of ailments or balance problems. Tai Chi is the best way to start because it tests all those things: coordination, balance, breathing, posture, and strength.
Yeah. Is it a good workout?
Yes, definitely.
I mean, seriously, because I've heard people say that, and whether they're doing yoga or something like that, no, you're gonna get a good workout. You're gonna perspire, and you're gonna ache. You're gonna have some aches and pains afterwards.
You're moving around.
Definitely.
You're staying busy while you're in there. It's definitely a workout.
Yeah. And so, what level were you, Doug?
I'm an advanced level in Kung Fu. We do a number system and letter system. And my level is 7B. It starts at 10 and works its way down.
Okay.
So as the numbers go down, the level gets even harder.
What do you think that people need to know about getting involved if they're hearing about this for the first time and they want to be introduced to martial arts? What do you think they need to know or be ready for?
Definitely kicking, stretching, a lot of discipline work too. A lot of working on confidence, discipline, self-defense awareness, how to see things in a self-defense way, and how to see things in a good way through martial arts by good attitude, and work ethic.
Can you explain that, seeing things from a martial arts standpoint?
Yeah. So a lot of the moves in martial arts, in Kung Fu and Taekwondo, we do things called forms. And there are a bunch of basics put together in a series. And every move has a self-defense or a martial art or an attack to it. And by learning those moves, you kind of get the idea of why you would use these moves in a self-defense and how they would be effective.
Okay. And this is a process. It's not just you're going to learn this in one session.
Repetition.
Right.
Yeah.
There's actually a starter class you can come and take for, it's like $70 for the month, and you can take all the classes, both the Kung Fu and the Taekwondo, just to try it out. So that, you can't come in and non-commit. You can quit if you'd like to. There's no, we don't hold you to anything. It's a month-by-month thing.
And how much is that?
So it's $110 for a single person, $220 for a family. Like I said, you can come to all the classes. Do
you have to make reservations, or do you just drop in?
Nope, you just show up.
Just show up?
Yep.
What kind of gear do you have to wear?
So right now we don't have any standard uniforms. You can just wear, something you get off of Amazon or whatever that's a martial arts type uniform, not like sweatpants or T-shirts or anything like that. We're going with that type of just a loose kind of martial art uniform. So, you don't have to come up with anything important. It doesn't, it's not costly to get started.
Okay. And what is your phone number?
So we are 724-494-2459.
And repeat that again.
724-494-2459.
We've got a lot to talk about. More coming up on the Best of Beaver County. We're talking with Joann Clark and Doug Stopp from Clark Martial Arts, located on Darlington Road in Patterson.
Falling in love is one thing. Having anxiety about falling is a whole different subject. If you or a family member are concerned about falling, and yes, either up or down the stairs, or maybe even out of bed, St. Barnabas has a special message and some ideas just for you. Years of experience in working with people who are prone to falls has given St. Barnabas special expertise in this area. Call them at 724-443-0700 and learn about ways that you can begin to feel more confident and safe, including suggestions that you can implement right now into your daily routine. Call St. Barnabas at 724-443-0700. For many years now, St. Barnabas has been helping people fall in love, that is, with their new, better life, a longer life, a risk-free life. Call St. Barnabas now at 724-443-0700 or visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com and learn more about living longer and better.
This is the Best of Beaver County on Beaver County Radio. It is brought to you by St. Barnabas on the St. Barnabas Radio Network. We're talking with Joann Clark. She is the owner of Clark Martial Arts, and Doug Stopp, who is an instructor for the organization. And you have several instructors. You said your daughters being instructors as well?
Yeah, actually, so the gym is for the girls. It's in their name. Yeah, so they're the owners, okay. Which is funny. But so we have not only Taekwondo and Kung Fu, but we also have instructors for Krav, which is a self-defense, Jiu-Jitsu, which is, like he said, more of like the on-the-ground wrestling type, and then the Tai Chi, which like I said earlier, we're having the Tai Chi Day at the end of the month with Doug, which was April
25th.
25th, okay.
And what will you do on Tai Chi Day?
I'm going to separate the class in two sessions. I'm going to show the first part of class, the martial arts side, and then I will show how Tai Chi is used as a self-defense. And then the second part of class, after a little intermission, we're going to show how it just works on mind and body. And this starts at 5:30 p.m. on April 25th, Friday night.
And should they call or should they go to your website and register?
No, you can just drop in.
Yep, there'll be a little drop-in fee. I think it's going to be $20 drop-in fee. And we should have a really good turnout for it. So if there's a time you want to learn more about Tai Chi, this is the class to go to.
Or if you just want to show up and talk, we'll be there to talk more about, the other things that we offer also.
Is this growing more acceptance nowadays? Because there are a lot of sports, Doug, baseball, basketball, football. I remember a time when soccer wasn't as popular as it is now. And so martial arts, there used to be the Wetzel studios around Beaver County and things like that. But there was a select few that would get involved with it. What do you say to people who play other sports or maybe not want to play other sports, but still want to have some kind of a workout, some kind of even competition to get involved with?
Yeah.
I would say martial arts is a good in-between, like if it really gets you conditioned for all those other sports. Like let's say in my style of Kung Fu, we do a lot of leg work, bending our knees to be in a low stance. That really will train you to have a good stance for, defensive stance for basketball or football, and even the strength part, just all that stuff.
Yeah. So it teaches you, physicality.
Yeah, and I think, and Joann's daughters, they do other sports in between.
There's nothing wrong with the other sports, the basketball, the football, everything else. But I think with martial arts, this is teaching you something long-term for life. It's a life skill that, if your kid signs up at 4 and just, stays with us for a few short years, are still going to learn a lot of self-defense moves and confidence from us. So it's so much more than other sports can give in the way that it lasts a lifetime. It's a skill for any situation. Yeah. It helps you mentally, spiritually, physically. And it's good for kids that don't, like Sadie wasn't really so much of a team player. You know, she liked the individual challenge that, you know, she didn't have to compete against other people. It was just about her and how she did.
When they were growing up, did they use it on each other?
You know, what's funny is that was always very terrifying in my house, but they were pretty good with one another, and they're, you know, I can be very intimidating.
Yeah.
So,
Doug, you were talking about crouch moves and stuff like that, and the exercise and things like that. I'm thinking about this. You know, you're going to be in a crouch position for a while. You're going to pull a hammy.
Stretch.
yes.
Yeah, but we focus on that too. A lot of stretching. We in my basic class, we go in the basic warm-ups, we try to reach everything: cardio, flexibility, strength conditioning, and mental strength.
Yeah. It's interesting because I used to always think a workout, you didn't get a good workout unless you were really sweating at the end of it. You know, you really wanted to sweat. And if you didn't, you'd think, I didn't work hard enough. Do you sweat? Are you going to perspire? Are you going to be physically worn out at the end of it?
Oh yeah, you could be punching bags,
Definitely,
kicking
yeah.
bags, sparring people. I mean, and when we spar, we're sparring in Taekwondo. They're using sticks. I mean, we're beating each other on the head with sticks and stuff like that. They use nunchucks. They use, you know, kamas, staff. We train on all of that stuff. Sword,
Fans.
all the fans. Yep. As funny as that sounds, there is a weapon called a fan. Yeah, there are weapons in Taekwondo that you can pick up.
Yeah.
Like I said, staff, sword, fan, nunchucks. I say nunchucks.
Okay.
And kamas, which are basically axes
Okay.
that, you know, they spin, and
How about those pointy star things?
we cannot do those.
Yeah, and in my style of kung fu, we have the broadswords, the staffs,
Right.
fans. Even at one time, you get to use daggers and a flute actually as a performance weapon.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are, you know, you can get trained on those types of things.
You said performance weapon.
Forms like
Forms,
in competitions,
okay.
there's performances
Okay,
and
so you
forms,
do
and
all
you
that
can
kind of stuff.
use those. To
Does a
perform.
person have to have this equipment to join, or do you have it there at the gym?
We do have some things at the gym that you don't have to really buy anything unless you want to be in a tournament where you're going to need to carry your own gear around. You could just come to the gym and practice with things, and you know it doesn't. You don't have to buy it.
Do you get to pick your own opponent, or are you paired up with people?
The instructors usually do that.
Yeah, we usually
Okay.
pair them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as those different things you were talking about, the sticks, the swords, the different things, do you have to have headgear on or anything?
Yes.
You wearing headgear? 'Cause
When
I'm
you're
wondering-
sparring,
Taekwondo,
yeah, you have to
Yeah,
wear headgear.
okay.
Definitely, yeah.
And sparring is sparring. We know it in boxing. Is it kind of the same thing? You get two people to face it off in a ring or something
Yes.
like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just it's on an open gym floor there, and you're just with your own partner, and you go at it for a certain amount of time, and you're wearing headgear. They actually have feet gear and gloves too in
I was going to say,
Taekwondo.
you don't want to
Yeah.
get hit in the hand with one of those sticks with high
Yeah.
velocity.
Oh, the
That's
stick
going
is
to hurt.
like a
They're
wrapped
foam. They're
material.
foam.
Yeah,
they're foam.
Yeah, it's not like a broomstick
Well, I
or
don't see,
anything.
that's how much I know about it. I don't know.
No, it's really interesting. It's really fun to see, and I think it's something people don't know a lot about, or realize how much fun you can have with it, and it
Yeah.
becomes very addictive to some people.
With the kicks and stuff like that, probably sweeping legs and that sort of thing. Really? Do you have any of these on your website?
Yeah, so
you can see somebody in competition or something like
you
that?
can go to CMA Chippewa. I think that's on the Facebook page.
Facebook?
And
Okay.
there she places video of our testings, of people at tournaments, and things like that. So
Okay. And tournaments, do they work through tournaments through your martial arts classes, or do they do that on their own?
no, we get
You
the
get
gyms
tournaments.
will share information. Certain gyms will have their own tournament, and they'll send it out to you and say, hey, your kids can sign up here. There are state tournaments, regional tournaments, things like that, held by other or other gyms and things like that.
Yeah. And I'm only thinking of what I've seen, not of what I know. But you have the white workout gear, the white pants and the white top, and that
That's
kind
what
of
first
stuff.
degree usually was
Okay.
white
Yeah.
white belts and stuff
Okay.
like the white uniform. Yeah, but then they make a lot of different uniforms.
Yeah,
now.
there's different uniform types for the styles. Kung Fu and Taekwondo are actually different in many ways. Kung Fu, you can actually just wear the regular T-shirt, pants, and with a sash, not a belt. It's a
Okay,
sash that we
yeah.
tie around our waist.
And are some of the other studios around Beaver County? that you would go into competition with or tournaments with? Do you travel to Hopewell?
I don't think
or
there's anybody in Beaver
No.
County that we worked with. They're in Allegheny County, a lot of them.
Yeah, out in Butler. We've been out to Wexford.
Okay.
Yeah. The big tournament that I was just recently at was in Columbus, Ohio. That was the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic we went to.
How was that?
And they have a martial arts.
They have the whole martial art expo, so it's all martial arts, kung fu, taekwondo, karate, even tai chi and jiu-jitsu. Yeah, real fun event.
All right. So what was it like when you walked into that place? Is it kind of like the Karate Kid when you'd see people in competition?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It's a big arena. There's so many different areas where you got to go compete. They'll call you, and it's different. You never know who's going to be watching, like where the crowd's going to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like that. Yeah, the Karate Kid movie.
Wow.
It's very intense. Yeah, it's very cool to watch them compete, especially with their weapons and their creative forms and stuff. Is very fun.
Do you go in as a team representing Clark Martial Arts? So you might take 6, 10 people along
Yep.
for one of these tournaments?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yes.
we've traveled all over the country, North Carolina, Texas, Illinois. They go all over. I'm sure Doug's done that for Kung Fu also.
Yeah.
Do you get trophies or medals at the end of it?
Medals, trophies.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly medals.
Yeah. And how have you done?
The last one, I did 3 events, and I placed in gold all 3 events.
Oh, great. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. And when you went up against the competition, when you go to the competitions, do you see other people and you think, wow, that they really do a good job at that school or something like that? And you see where you learn different things from these places.
Yes, it's a really good atmosphere. The martial art community is really a good atmosphere. All of us are friendly. We have really good professionalism, and we get along really well.
And
Which is unlike the Karate Kid movie and
Yeah.
that one where they war with the gym. We've never had a war with any gyms. Yeah.
And you would never be able to identify someone like yourself, Doug, walking around on a normal basis, going to work, shopping, or anything like that. You just look like an average, ordinary person, right? You don't have you mentioned Schwarzenegger. You don't have all the big bulging muscles or anything like that. Getting involved with it.
No, not yet.
No.
But that might be something that would not be good for somebody that needs to be flexible like that, to have big bulging biceps and triceps and all those things. You wouldn't be able to move as much. You think so? Okay. So tell us once again how people get involved at the Clark Martial Arts School.
They can give us a call at 724-494-2459. They could send us an email at cmachippewa@yahoo.com. Or they could just walk in on a Monday through Friday night in the evenings from 5:30 to about 7:30 or so.
And this is basically an evening type program?
Yes, right now. The main 2 programs are right now Taekwondo and Kung Fu. We're trying to add our other instructors into classes, like Doug doing the Tai Chi. We have another gentleman that does the Jiu-Jitsu. We have a Krav teacher also. So the more people that get involved, the more classes we can offer.
You said Krav. Is it Crove?
Nope, Krav.
Wow. Okay.
And that's what they say, Israeli style or something
Yes.
like that of
Yeah.
self-defense. It's what they teach their military.
So different countries have developed these type of, what would you call them, exercises, disciplines?
Discipline's probably a good one.
Disciplines, martial arts. too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it is considered a sport in any way? You call it a sport?
Yes.
Okay. And girls and boys, men and women
Yeah.
can come?
You can sign up with their families should sign up together. Really. I mean, it's something you can do as a family.
Yeah.
And it's only good for everybody. I mean, it's good for your health and your spirituality and getting together and meeting other people, community. It's
And it's individual. You're competing against yourself,
correct. Yeah.
right? So it's not beating somebody else or anything like
Right.
that, although that could be important too. But you want to challenge yourself.
Right. That's really what's, like I said, if you have a kid that doesn't want to be on a team, is maybe shy or whatever, that it's good for them in that way too. It's a great
Confidence
example.
builder.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're working against yourself to improve yourself.
Awesome.
You don't have to worry about anybody else.
It was great hearing about it. Joann Clark of Clark Martial Arts, Doug Stopp, one of the instructors, and does a lot of work with the YMCA of Beaver County. Thank you both for coming on today and educating us on this. And once again, the phone number,
724-494-2459.
call them and find out all about it.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
On the Best of Beaver County.
Thank you for listening to the Best